If you don't want to be successful as much as you want breath in your lungs, none of you qualify in this room. Hardly anybody that comes to the seminar qualifies. When I was doing this and when I invented QLA, and didn't know it was QLA at the time, only knew it was QLA when I look back and I put it together, the model, if you will, or the formula, I wanted it more than air. I sacrificed my God, my country, my family, my children, my parents, my friends. And guess what? It happened. I'm not going to make my speech about don't tell me good morning. If you've watched the videos at all, you know why I don't like good morning. It gives me bad vibes. What's good about it, Pena? You sorriest fucking Mexican cunt in this man's army? You like my wife, Pena? You can't answer that question right. You don't like, well, you don't like, why don't you like my wife, Pena? You fucking Mexican wetback. Now just imagine if you went through that in your life. Fucking bald, albino, fucking gook. That's the life I come from, you sorry cunts, and that's why I'm not a snowflake. And then we got a fucking Belgian fucking moron who stands in front of the camera. Fucking Belgium, they're stupid in Belgium. And then we got a guy late. What did I tell you? You got no privileges. Did I make it plain last night? Yes, I did, didn't I? And it will happen every day. It will happen every meal. It will happen every break. Why? Because you're fucking meathead retards. There's a reason why I live in a castle for 35 years and haven't had to work, and you're fucking poor. You gotta go borrow money from your mother, your sister, and on your credit card to get here. There's a reason. Because your parents were retards. So don't tell me good morning, please. Please be seated. Passing your homework. The structure of this seminar is different, not just because it's a day longer, but because we've had a documentary crew here a few weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago now, that I'm going to be part of a worldwide documentary by one of the big international wealth sovereign funds, and titled Financing the Future. And we had to collect a lot of data for that 2 days that they were with us, and they may come back again to see us. Just put it there on the table, please. We went back, and there's several things that are intuitively obvious, and I should have, me being around you kind of guys for 25 years has rubbed off on me because I'm slightly retarded now. We give a year of mentorship. You're going to get a year of mentorship, and almost everybody takes a year. Why do you think that is? Because you've got a year. What if you only had a month? What if you had 90 days? What if you had 180 days? If somebody, how many in the room have kids? Poor fuckers. Anyway, so somebody comes up and puts a gun in your daughter, I'm not going to ask you which is your favorite, because I know we're not supposed to have favorites. But you just think in your mind whichever the favorite is, right? And this fucking terrorist-looking guy puts a gun to her head and says, you have got till Friday. What's the day of the week of this? What is this? Whatever. You got till Friday to come up with $100,000, or we're going to cut her head off and shit down her neck. The odds are the little skinny shit would come up with $100,000. Why? Because the threat is so overwhelming for something that he loves. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. You love the little shit that he loves, that you'll get it done. The kids that do the best in QLA there's a hip hop motivational guy, a black guy. Yeah, and he says if you don't want to be successful as much as you want breath in your lungs, none of you qualify in this room. Hardly anybody that comes to the seminar qualifies. When I was doing this and when I invented QLA, and didn't know it was QLA at the time, only knew it was QLA when I look back and I put it together, the model, if you will, or the formula, I wanted it more than air. I sacrificed my God, my country, my family, my children, my parents, my friends. And guess what? It happened. It's no different than the guys that have go to the Olympics, and I've had the pleasure and the privilege of training some of them. They have one thing on their mind. They're not going to the Olympics, but getting a medal, and not getting a medal, getting a gold medal. This is the gold medal of your life. This is the financial Olympics of your life. The financial Olympics of your life. And just as Josh Kim illustrated, and he was at the last seminar, and he paid to come to the last seminar, I didn't pay him. Although for all the shit that he went through, I should have paid him. Because you were on him like a cheap fucking suit. You have no morality. The people in that seminar. He gets thousands of phone calls that he doesn't answer. He gets thousands of, on LinkedIn that he doesn't answer. Thousands, tens of thousands. I'm told he has a cult following of over 1 million because they think he's going to spread them the info of the secret sauce. There is no secret sauce. He followed the 7 steps, and he didn't even follow them 100%, but he followed them 95%. Okay, the first film you saw last night was what?
Everybody wants to do this. Everybody dies from it.
And what's the takeaway? Just speak out. Go ahead.
People die with regrets, chances they didn't take.
This seminar should be called the Regret Minimization Seminar. I didn't know I had this in common with the founder of Amazon, but he's in the regret minimization business. He has modeled his lifestyle, what will I regret when I'm 80? Now that he's 50-something, he says now it's going to be 90, same as me. But I've had 80 for a long, long time. And there's still some things. I have 3 regrets. 1, I'm a combat-trained Army officer. They never saw combat. 2, the day before my mother died, here at the castle, I'm screaming at her, God damn it, don't be a bitch, you're not sick, you're not going to die. Next morning, she's dead. Can't go back on that, can you? And the 3rd is I didn't set my goals high enough. Nothing about missing my son or my daughter's Sweet 16, or missing a soccer or a fucking baseball game. None of that shit that you have been led to believe wrongfully are important. I am a world-class eulogy giver. And every single person I've buried, I normally go to see them, normally they ask me before they die. I go and I say, well, what do you want me to say? And they always say, oh, I'm sorry for it. I didn't take this risk. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Not that I missed my son's wedding. Not that I missed my 3rd grandchild's birth. All that sloppy, soppy shit. It's the risk they didn't take. And one of your homeworks in 2 or 3 days is going to be based on regret minimization. And when I go talk to the Navy SEALs in a couple weeks, the topic is boots to suits, meaning transition from their military to their civilian life, regret minimization. Because I made that transition 50 years ago, and I'm one of the success stories. I made hundreds of millions. Unfortunately, most of the guys that make that transition, 22 or 24 people commit suicide every day, vets, in America. It's a sad fucking commentary, and President Trump is just beginning to turn that around. And as this sign says, are you tired of winning yet? I'm going to go in for some more. If you don't understand, this fucking president has changed finance, the world, forever. The world, not just America. He has changed it forever, forevermore. And in 2015, early 2016, I predicted if he was serious and he ran, he would transform wealth. He would lead the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever seen. And that's exactly what he's done. The statistics in America, and it has a ripple effect. America sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. He has the best numbers of any president since George Washington. More blacks, more Hispanics employed, less unemployment. And I can go on and on and on. And they're giving money away free. And now he has the strongest conservative Supreme Court in the history of the motherfucking United States. They're going to crush liberalism. They're going to crush socialism. And they're going to be there for 20, 30, 40 motherfucking years. Why do you think the Democrats and the liberals fought so hard against Kavanaugh? And if you weren't trying to grope somebody's pussy and tits when you were in high school, there was something wrong with you. And the thing that President Trump said, or allegedly said, about grabbing pussy, there's not a red-blooded man, maybe in this group there isn't, a red-blooded man that doesn't want to do the exact same fucking thing and just not get in trouble. So don't give me that shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the YouTube cunts that aren't the sweat that when I washed my ass this morning. You're going to learn the real way how to create generational wealth in 3 to 5 years, top 7 years, that would normally take 20 to 25 years. Josh Kim, God love him, Asian, Korean, did it in 3 years. But he did almost everything right. Not everything right, almost everything. Now he's flying around in his fucking jet plane. What have you done the last 3 years? Not just you, but the fucking YouTube fucking vaginas. Just imagine if you had done what Josh Kim did in 3 years. 17 years old, you sorry fucking cunts. Most of you were just jacking off on your fucking laptop when you were 17. And in fact, you still are, because you can't get your willy wet. What was the takeaway for the second film? What was the second film?
About the importance of a role model of your father and mother.
Well, you didn't have any role models. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I'm the alpha male father you never fucking had and should have. Do you know how important growing up role models are? And some, I'm going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, almost everybody in this room is an accident. I'm going to show you, because we're going to look at some stats that you've never thought of. Maybe you've thought of them, but you've suppressed them. And I'm not just talking about you were born 9 years apart from your brother or sister. I'm not talking, that's easy. That was absolutely an accident. But I'm talking about some other things. But most of the people, because if you have a half a brain, why do you want to have kids? Kids are hard work if you do it right. The reason why everybody has kids is because they don't raise them right. I.e., here you are. What's the third movie?
Custody model.
Gus, with Mike, his role model. And what happened to poor Mr. Tyson? Not poor, he's not poor. After Gus died, he went off the rails.
Lost direction.
Engaged in self-sabotaging activities. Big time. And he's getting paid quite a bit of money now to have a show in Vegas where he talks about that. I've never seen the show. Any comments about the 3 films? We have the forms. If you want to participate in the boxing, you have to fill out a form. Not mandatory. But the greatest example of what the exercise accomplishes was our PhD, Mohammed from Saudi Arabia, who had never been slapped, hit, kicked, disciplined. Nobody had ever raised his voice to him, Muslim. And he get hit in the face for the first time in his life. And it's the one on YouTube where social media where I think he's throwing a right cross at the Dutchman that he's fighting. His whole life has changed. His whole life has changed. Somebody should have beat you. And a few of you did get beat, but you didn't get beat enough. I.e., you're still here. Anything else about the movies that you'd like to comment on?
One thing that I took away on the third movie was how Gus was basically feeding in belief into Mike to bring out the intimidation factor, so when he gets into the ring, he has an opponent beat before he even gets there.
And I don't know if it was the first fight, but he got punched, and the first time he got punched in the solar plexus, he cried. Tyson cried. Now, there's a disconnect there because you don't picture Mike Tyson crying, right? But I was at the fight in Las Vegas when he won the championship the first time, and from the guy. The guy was a champion. And you could see the fear in the guy's eyes. And Tyson was hitting the guy so hard. I was in the third row. The perspiration, so the third row is about from here to the edge of the ring, here. The perspiration was coming off the guy's head when Tyson was hitting it. And the perspiration was landing on me in the third row, the velocity. And behind me, Danny DeVito, Robert De Niro, and a bunch of actors of Italian extraction. They were pissed off because the sweat was hitting them too. I forget which one of them said, "Hey, what the fuck, we pay all this?" I think it was $500 a seat. We pay $500 a seat to get fucking dirty athletes sweat on us. There's some other words that they use, but for you minorities, I don't want to hurt your feelings, you know what I mean? Anything else about the movies? These are the 3 shortest clips that you're going to see during the week. Some of them are 2 hours long, and starting tonight, I believe, we focus in on guys that are the icons of the planet. Some of which are dead, some of which are alive. And they all have one thing in common. They're fucking assholes. Ruthless cocksuckers that would stick their dick in your mother's mouth if she had one breath left. Now, how do you stack up? You don't even want to visualize that metaphor. If this is the world, and QLA teaches you how to go between the big battleships on a little rowboat, so to speak,